Hello, I'm the Hard Times guy. Today's video is going to be a little different than some because I'm going to talk about two girls today. I'm going to call them the Crulo-Rude sisters. I'm the Hard Times guy. I promised you a format a couple of videos ago. Didn't take me long to stray from it, and this video today is going to be an even further stray from that format I told you we were going to switch to, but I guess if you haven't learned anything else, you've learned that I'm a spontaneous guy, and I like to have a plan, and I like to have order in my life, but sometimes I take off on a side road and leave the predetermined plan, and today I'm doing that with this video. And I want this video to be about these girls, not about me, so I'm going to get right to it. Yesterday went to the high school graduation ceremony of the youngest girl. Her name is Gracie. And as a high school graduation present, I created a Hard Times original. And so that, in keeping with how I usually do things, I shot some pictures while I was making this cabinet, and you're going to see that cabinet from just miscellaneous pieces of wood to a finished product in the course of this video. I don't know when, probably towards the front, but I'm not sure. And you're going to see a picture of its predecessor, which was a very similar cabinet that was made for the older sister, and her name is Allie. I have been in love with the game of basketball nearly all my life. I might as well just pause for a minute and tell you that I just started reading, and I'm going to be reading for a few minutes. And what I'm reading is something that I wrote, I don't know how many years ago it was. It was when Allie Crulo-Rude was a senior, so it was probably 2 or 3 years ago when she was a senior in high school. And at the end of that year, I wrote this about her. And I think I sent the letter to her and to her mother. I gave it to them at her senior night, or I don't remember how that all transpired, but she has read this letter. She may still have a copy of it, I don't know. But it pretty much illustrates how I think of her. And you're not getting the whole letter. The letter's 3 or 4 times longer than what I'm going to read you. But you're going to get enough of it to know what I think of Allie Crulo-Rude. And while I've stopped, before I start reading again, I'm going to tell you that I've written a book. There's what it looks like. That beautiful girl on the top's my oldest granddaughter. And those 2 animals on the bottom are my 2 favorite bird dogs out of about 50 that I've owned in my lifetime. This book is called Observations, Basketball and Bird Dogs. And I'd show you that just to say that I think I know enough about basketball that I was able to write a book about it and wasn't ashamed of the book, had it published. Whether it's any good or not, that's up to you. If you like my videos, you probably like my book. Go to Amazon and buy one. If you live close to me, just come to me. I'll sell you one and autograph it for you. I want to go ahead now and read. I have been in love with the game of basketball nearly all my life. I have been watching girls basketball with a keen interest for 40-some years. I've had daughters, granddaughters, nieces, and now a great-granddaughter who were basketball players. One of my daughters, Coach Holtz, has been a basketball coach for 22 years, and that number's probably 25 or 6 now. Her mother and I try to watch every game she coaches. We think of the players she coaches as ours. I say all this simply to illustrate that between all our girls and all our opponents, I have seen a significant number of young lady basketball players. Then in the original writing, I paused and I put some guidelines for how basketball players are chosen, and those guidelines are again in this book. I call them the SAS requirements, and SAS is an acronym. In fact, it's 2 acronyms. But I'm going to refer to it. I'm saying, notice as you read the SAS major and minor standards for choosing a basketball player, most of the criteria are self-explanatory. The one that the writer made the most effort to clarify was attitude. In fact, the writer declares that attitude may be the most important of all the criteria when selecting players for a team. When you read what the standard asks for in attitude, you read a description of Allie Krullo-Rude. Allie wants the team to win, period. Her entire career, she has had to match up against players who were bigger, stronger, faster, and more athletic and more skillful than her. With the heart of a warrior, she throws herself into the fray. She sacrifices her body, her mind, and her dignity for the team. No one works harder than she does. Stand in front of her coach, her team, her family, and the entire crowd and be harshly criticized for some imperfection. She simply will nod her head, maybe ask a question to clarify her instructions, and go sit down. Maybe she was guilty, maybe not. It doesn't matter. When she goes back in the game, she is out there doing her level best to do whatever she is asked. If the coach told her to help, the student managers carry water for the rest of the game, she would ask where to find the water. I want her and her attitude on my team. I want her in my dressing room. I want her in the hallways of my school. I want her on my bench. I want her on the floor competing and leading by example. I'm proud that she is a member of my extended family. And I want her to know that somebody noticed. Now, as I said, I wrote that about Allie a few years ago. And Allie was a 4-year player at B&L. I've already mentioned she was undersized for the position that she played, and she was not fast enough or skilled enough in ball handling to play the other position other than to fill in for somebody. And she played junior varsity ball from her freshman, sophomore, and junior year, so she was my adopted granddaughter for 3 of the 4 years she was there. And she's still my adopted granddaughter. She can't get away from me. Because she played for my daughter, who was the JV coach. And they're still playing for her. She's an assistant coach on the varsity bench, so they all play for her. But my wife and I think of her players, the ones that played for her junior varsity team, as, you know, our team and our kids. So I think this tells you what I thought of her. And the reason I wrote all of this to start with was the rest of the world didn't think of her like I did. There were some people that did. My daughter was one. But most of them felt like she didn't deserve to be a starter when she was a senior. She started the whole year. She didn't contribute to the team. The team would be better without her if someone else was getting more playing time, etc., etc., etc. And I know all this because I sit in the stands and people all around me talk. I go around in the community. People know my daughter's associated with the program. And they ask me questions about the team. And they give me advice about how the team should be coached and how the team should play and all kinds of things like that. So I hear from all kinds of people. And to put it mildly, Allie was underappreciated. Were there better basketball players than her, and have I seen them? Yes, I've seen lots of players that were better basketball players than her. In the 40 years I've been watching basketball, I could probably make a list of hundreds that were better basketball players than her in high school. But a better teammate, a better person? So that's why I wrote this. And that's why I made the little cupboard for her and gave it to her at her graduation. And of course, I knew her sister the same way I knew her. She had a sister. Her sister's name is Gracie. And Gracie was much like her. She was a warrior. She got out there and played hard, but she was undersized. She was even shorter than Allie. But she was stronger and quicker and faster and more athletic probably. So she was able to do some things that Allie couldn't do as well. And I loved her too as a player, and felt about her a lot the same way that I felt about Allie. But it just wasn't quite the same because, one, Allie was so underappreciated that I probably went overboard in my appreciation of her among the people that tried to tell me about her. Gracie got disrespected as well, but it was more undeserving and it wasn't quite as severe. Gracie was appreciated for some of the things that she did more so than Allie was. And I felt like for 3 years that Gracie didn't play as hard as she could have or should have. I thought she was the more skillful and the better basketball player of the two sisters, but which one do I want on my team? In my mind, it was always Allie. Then in Gracie's senior year, I guess her true colors showed, or I finally recognized them, but she became a beast defensively. And she got the assignment of guarding the other team's best player. And I don't care who the player was or where she played. Gracie was probably 5'4", 5'5" would be a stretch, I'm sure. Our program probably said she was 5'8", but she wasn't. And if the other girl was 6'3", and she was the best player on the other team, Gracie guarded her. And I'm sure a lot of them looked at her at the start of the game and thought, wow, I'm going to have fun today. But before that game was over, they wished they never heard of Gracie Crulo-Rude. And I'd say we had a good season this past year. And in every game, but maybe one, that's what that kid on the other team left the game thinking. That girl was my worst nightmare. I don't want to ever see her again. Now, in the Jennings County game, at Jennings County, Gracie guarded a girl on that team who wasn't really that good, but she got unconscious that night. She was in the zone. She made shots from behind the volleyball line. And it didn't. I think Dennis Rodman could have been Gardner. It wouldn't have mattered. But so I can't say that Gracie shut her down that day. But later on in the season, when we played them in the tournament, that girl left the floor just like every other girl had all year, thinking Gracie was her worst nightmare. And I tell you all that to tell you this. I mentioned already that Allie got a Hard Times original for her graduation. And from the time that happened until Gracie graduated, my wife kept saying, "Are you going to make Gracie a cabinet? Are you going to make Gracie a cabinet? You made Allie a cabinet. You're going to have to make Gracie a cabinet." And my answer was no. I'm not making Gracie a cabinet. I made Allie a cabinet for my reasons, and in my mind, Allie deserved the cabinet. Gracie's going to get a card with money in it because they're just not the same for why I made Allie the cabinet. But in her senior year, Gracie changed all that, and I couldn't not make her a cabinet, so I did. I might add to this, Gracie likes mud pies. I think I said that in part of the video. If you don't know what mud pies are they're actually no-bake chocolate oatmeal cookies. My wife tells the story. She won a blue ribbon in 4-H when she was just a girl making those cookies, and then when they found out that they weren't really baked cookies, they were more candy than cookies, they came and stripped her of her blue ribbon, broke her heart. But that doesn't matter because she deserved the blue ribbon, and her mud pies, her chocolate oatmeal no-bake cookies, are the best chocolate oatmeal no-bake cookies in the world, bar none. And anybody who eats chocolate oatmeal cookies and has eaten hers agrees with me. It's not just something I think. Everybody thinks that. And Gracie likes them. And much to my chagrin, she was more excited about getting a little container of Betty's cookies at her graduation than she was my cabinet. But, you know, I can live with that. In a video that I've already made, and I think the name of the video is Great Social and Political Import, I-M-P-O-R-T, short for importance. That's a line from a Janis Joplin song. If you're too young to know Janis Joplin and her music, then while you're here on the YouTube channel watching this, I hate to tell you to go leave my videos, not watch all of them, but go search Janis Joplin, and I think the name of the song was "Lord, Won't You Buy Me a Mercedes-Benz." That was a line in that song. And get yourself acquainted to Janis Joplin. That'll help you know the Hard Times guy a little better, because Janis Joplin was one of my favorites when I was a young man. But anyway, in that video, Great Social and Political Import, I give you insight into things that are important to me and to my approach to life, and to how I try to direct the ones I love to think about and approach life. And so, because these sisters, Allie and Gracie, so personify what I'm talking about in that video, I'm going to play a short, I'm not going to play the whole thing, not even the whole part where I'm talking about my life views. But I'm going to play a part of that in this video now. What I'm saying to you are the things that I say to people that I care about, the people I love, my family, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and my friends. They're the people that I talk like this to. I'm not trying to change who they vote for. I'm not trying to make money or profit or gain power or anything like that from these people. I'm trying to tell them the way it is, the best that I know it and understand it from my life's experience, so that they can deal with life. Because I love them. I care about them. I want them to have a good life. I want them to be happy. I want them to be successful. That's why I tell them these things. So if you're hearing them, you're not hearing something that I'm trying to get you to agree with me on. You're hearing what I tell people I love. I want them to place a high value on attributes like honesty, loyalty, and moral character. Get this next part, because this is the sentence that sums it all up between me and them. And them are, again, those people that I care the most about. This is what I say. And this, I'm going to say in a sentence, this is my life's philosophy. I want them to approach life, approach it like you would a competition, and go at it like it means something, like it matters whether you win or lose, like it matters whether you succeed or fail. That's what I'll tell people that I love. That's what I want them to do. I go on. I want them to play hard, work diligently, and love unconditionally. I've always been someone who enjoyed games, and I've always been someone who enjoyed winning games. And it doesn't matter what the game is. Checkers, basketball, tic-tac-toe. It doesn't matter. I wanted to know how to play, what the best strategy was, what the disciplines you had to learn to be successful at it, and then I played it as hard as I could, and I always tried to win. And if you don't believe that, go find some of my adult grandchildren and ask them about when they were growing up, did Grandpa ever let them win? I wanted them to win. I wanted nothing would make me happier than for them to win, for them to beat me. But for it to mean anything, they had to beat me. I couldn't let them win. I want them to understand that it takes work and perseverance and discipline to win. So, play hard. Work diligently. That means put your best into it. Be determined. Be like a bulldog. Get in there and get hold of it and don't let go of it. Keep giving it your best. When you get done, if you don't get the outcome you want, I don't want you to have to look back and say, I didn't give that my best. That's what I tell people I love. I tell them it's worth the effort and the work that you put in it. And you need to know that you're doing that every day, all the time. And the last thing I say is love unconditionally. And you say, what the heck is that? Love unconditionally. First thing I'm going to say about that is we choose to love. Remember when this all started, talking about choices and life being a series of choices and the choices we make? I'm telling you something. This is important for you to understand. We choose to love. People think they fall in love. They don't fall in love. People fall in a vat of chocolate, or people fall into other pleasant or unpleasant things. Nobody falls in love. They make a conscious choice to love somebody or something, and then they work at it diligently. If they don't, it don't happen. There's too many things in life that come along to upset things, to mess everything up, to divide and confuse, and too much like that in life and in the places we go and the things that we do, for you to think that love is an accident. Love isn't an accident. We choose to love, and then we act like it, and we work at it, and we sacrifice for it, and we give when everybody else wants to take. That's what love is about. Till you understand that, you can't understand love unconditionally. Because unconditionally means no matter what. And that's what happens to a lot of love that people think they fell into. The no matter what's come. It's something they wasn't expecting. Something that they didn't think was part of the program. Something that they didn't know about. And then it's like, well, I don't love that anymore, or I don't love them anymore. She killed all the love I had for her. That's not how unconditional love works. You're saying, hard times guy, you kind of got off of your normal schedule again today, and yeah, I did. Well, that's that. Allie Crudo Rude, Gracie Crudo Rude. Sisters, sweet as can be, pretty, bright, great future ahead of them. I'm proud to have known them. They can play on any team I ever have. Wish them the best. Glad you got to meet him. I'm the hard times guy. Watch my videos. Subscribe to my channels. Till then.